and Pilar. A lot of familiar faces today. Welcome, everyone. And welcome to those just joining us. Just so you know, the app features are really important and really powerful to use, so you can talk directly to us. Bring your questions in the chat box, in the Q&A box, and put up your hand to turn on your mic, and we can dial you right in and hear your voice so you can talk directly to us. Hello to those just joining us on YouTube Live. Just so you know, the interactive features can't be used there. Only on the app. You have to download that from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So, welcome. I'll begin today's discussion. Hello, everyone. My name is Stefan. I'm a host of Meditation Live and host of the Script Conscious podcast. And I'm here today with Corinne Summers. Today's discussion is on developing focus. Corinne, I'll pass it over to you so you can introduce the topic and settle us into today's discussion with any practice you feel appropriate.
Great, thanks, Stefan. And thank you everyone for joining us here today. Great to have you here as always. My name is Corinne Summers. I'm an international meditation and mindfulness coach. I'm also a yoga instructor, Reiki master, and wellness coach. So privileged to be here chatting with you all about focus and how to improve focus in your lives. Let's go ahead and begin with a nice gentle breathing practice to bring ourselves into the space and set the tone for our practice together here today, or time together here today. So taking a moment to just move around in your seat, making yourself comfortable to begin. Relaxing your lower body, finding a little length through your spine as you sit up tall. Lift your shoulders up to your ears and then roll them back and down away from the ears. And settling into that relaxed position. Taking a big breath in and exhale to close your eyes. Bring all of your awareness to your breath. Noticing for a moment, very simply, that you're breathing. Follow the path of your breath as it flows in through your nostrils, down the back of your throat. Feel the spaces where it enters your lungs. Allow your belly to expand. Noticing that path in of each breath as it flows in and down. Now taking a few moments to observe the path of the exhale. Noticing how the air moves back up through the body, up through the throat, exiting your nostrils or mouth, your belly deflating. Just a couple more moments here to let your full attention flow with your breath. Other distractions are coming in. Try to let them go as you breathe out. And take your attention back to witnessing this beautiful, innate process in your body. Take one more breath all the way in, letting your lungs and belly open. And all the way out, exhaling out the mouth. And then starting to move back into your body. Take some nice gentle twists in your seat, perhaps, or taking your neck or shoulders in a few circles, releasing any tension you might be carrying there. Nice time to check in for the day. Fully rejoining the room by opening your eyes when you're ready, and welcome back.
Thank you for that, Corinne. And if anyone has any questions or any comments about what they experienced in that practice, please leave them in the chat box and the Q&A box. Be happy to help address anything you'd like to resolve and get more insight on. So today's topic is focus. That was a great practice to start us off because I feel more grounded, more refreshed, and I feel like the modern digital life and all the static electricity it creates as it kind of pulls us around is definitely not great for having focus where I need it. So what focus are you talking about? What's the best way to develop a focus that serves us? Is focus just focus, or are there different kinds of focus?
The main state differentiator I use in regards to focus is the difference between focus and mindful observation. So there is a state of intense focus where all of our attention is on one single point in the moment, where we might be focusing really intently and using all of our energy to finish a project before a deadline, or get through some other task or other activities where we need to, again, be using our entire attention for the task at hand, which is honestly difficult for a lot of people to achieve these days because of what you just mentioned. We're very overstimulated by technology and a few other factors that exist in our modern world have led to very distracted brains. And so it can be difficult to focus that intently on something. It's something we have to practice and something that we can learn and practice in a meditation. Mindful observation can also learn and practice in meditation, but it implies a little bit of a step back where we aren't fully engaged. We aren't bringing every part of our energy to that single point. We're sort of just, again, aware of all of our surroundings. So we're paying attention. We know what's going on. There's an awareness there, but it's not an intent focus on perhaps one thing. It's more paying attention to our surroundings. When you're in a meeting or having a conversation with someone, you might be using this, or even as you move through, your day to day. So both are important skills for leadership and emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, and improving our ability to concentrate overall.
So is like really intent focus something we can often like misapply? Is often like mindful observation better, where we think maybe we need to strain and focus really hard on something?
I think there are definitely times that we need to use both. As I was saying, when we have to finish a project, or there's, you're working on writing something, or you have a big deliverable or a big goal you want to achieve, sometimes it's really important to take time to shut out all distractions. I always recommend to my clients, I do a lot of coaching with folks who are entrepreneurs or in the business world. And some of my top advice to them is to have certain periods and blocks of time scattered throughout the day, one period always in the morning, to get their biggest brain work done, where they need all of that energy and pure focused attention. Because the truth is, we all only have so much energy in the day. And when we're in that state of intent focus, it does use our energy. It wears down our brains a little bit. And so we can't expect to be that intently focused on something for the entire day. And we need little breaks built in there. So it's a good way to kind of scatter your workflow and arrange your day, where you start out with a period of intent focus, where you're maybe an hour to 2 hours, 2 hours if you can, where I say, get your biggest work done. We call it eating the frog. You get your biggest task at hand done at the day when your energy is fresh, when you're really highly motivated and you have the strongest ability to focus because you haven't been too distracted yet. So ideally, this is, maybe falls before you've spent too much time on your phone, on social media, on emails, and getting, distracted and pulled away in all these different directions. So just some thoughts about how you might arrange your day to create more focused attention.
Great. And how about the application of focus in meditation? Is focus something that's useful in meditation? And does it have a totally different effect when we're focused in meditation versus not?
Could you repeat the question? I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, yes.
What you mean there.
So is focus useful in meditation? And when it's used, if it's used in meditation, would it have a totally different effect than maybe a more like, open awareness meditation or a less focus oriented meditation?
Well, there are definitely different types of meditation that can be used to improve focus. We're not all, so the definition of meditation is actually any time our minds are fully focused on one point without any outside distractions. And sometimes that's actually the exclusion of all thought when we get really advanced in our practices. It's the exclusion of all thought. That's the focus point, is pure silence and the absence of thought. But we practice getting there, and we practice reducing our distractions through really any meditation. Because think about it, in any meditation, that's what we're doing, right? We're trying to be intently engaged in one thing to the exclusion of all else. We're always practicing releasing our thoughts and coming back to whatever the guide is taking you through, whether that's breath awareness, whether it's affirmations, whether it's mindful meditation, or even visualization. We're always practicing that ability in some way. Now, we could get into the nitty gritty on it because there are obviously, in some practices we're more in the observation state or aware, more loosely aware. In visualization, we're using the more creative parts of our brain rather than those brain waves that are, associated with intent focus. So there are some differences, but I think that's a good general idea.
Definitely. And we got a question in the Q&A box from Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Good to see you again. She says, I find now that I have been meditating for a while, I'm having trouble staying focused on the practice. Things seem to be distracting me more. And I do find when it's guided practice, I do better. So do you have a suggestion to keep me focused when working on my own? I guess by working, she means meditating on her own or.
Well, and I'm curious if when you're saying that you're meditating on your own, if it's another guided meditation, or if you mean vipassana, where you're attempting to sit in pure silence with the absence of all thought, which is difficult. So maybe you can respond, but there is a point, when we transition, anytime we're growing in our practice or in any area of life, when you hit a new stage of growth and are learning something new, it's a new set of challenges. And so you may struggle again for a little bit. So if you're taking the training wheels off of meditation.live, right, and trying to go out and do it on your own without a guide, there's going to be a period of difficulty there. And so where you're getting used to doing it completely on your own with the absence of that voice guiding you and that direction. Because the voice and the guiding, the reason we start with those types of meditations is because it gives the brain something to harness and to anchor on to help stay away from those outside distractions. So you always have that little voice kind of guiding you and bringing you back. Again, when you take the training wheels off, it can be tough for a bit. So just be patient with yourself and keep balancing the two practices.
Got another question in here from the Q&A box. Good to see you, Asan. Question here is, I think focusing is much easier when an external force like time limitations or having some high priority task is at work. Why is that? How can we focus easier when there is nothing to force us? Because that seems to be much more difficult.
Yeah, that adrenaline kicks in. You're in fight or flight mode, which does create intense focus so that you can finish something before the deadline, but it's not ideal. You know, all of these practices are actually about bringing ourselves into a mindful state of being where we're flowing with more ease through our day-to-day lives and not hitting those periods of intensity. So, you know, once we become more aware and more mindful, you might be able to make better, you know, planning decisions and, you know, keep, you know, in terms of how you arrange your schedule and not waiting till the last minute for things. That was one change I found in myself. I used to be a huge procrastinator and found myself recognizing that when I was procrastinating, it put me in an intense state in my physical body that I didn't like. And that was actually ended up being the motivator for me to change my habit and create more time for myself to finish projects that were important, and to just better have more reasonable expectations. I think I still struggle with it sometimes, but have more reasonable expectations of what I can accomplish in certain time frames. But it's something to definitely keep working at, because I believe that we should be able to turn focus on and off. And I do it today. I decide this is my period of time. I'm going to do my biggest work during this period. And I have certain tools that I use to prep and put myself in that brain state. And then I go at it. It includes meditation, breathing, a few other things. Find something that works for you. Think about when you're the most on. What does it take you to get there? And try to replicate that before a period that you need to get something done.
All right, and good to see you, Deborah. I'm going to activate your mic now so you can talk to Corinne. And just turn on your mic, and it's on.
Okay. Good morning, guys. Yes, Corinne, it's taking off those training wheels and trying to concentrate on my own on meditation, where I'm kind of seeming to get distracted a lot more. And I'm just trying to think of little controls to help me continue that on my own too. I love guided meditations. Nothing wrong with doing that. It's just I'm trying to develop a little further.
Yeah, I have some suggestions for you. So I know that you in particular live near a beach and it's getting a little cold. So that may not be realistic now, but in general, getting into meditating on your own in a place in nature or where you feel very comfortable is a great start, because you're sort of already putting yourself in that peaceful place, in that peaceful state. And so you're removing some of the obstacles. And that's really what the goal is to remove as many of the obstacles as possible so that you can have a successful experience and continue to feel motivated to continue, which within time you will grow and grow and grow, and you won't need to remove as many obstacles. Mm-hmm. So laying down is another one. You could practice your meditation laying down. Then you're removing the obstacle of having to stay upright and, you know, control your body, and you're putting yourself in that relaxed state. You could do anything else that relaxes you. Making your jewelry, I know, is something you've mentioned, or for, you know, general suggestions for people, you know, if you like aromatherapy or taking a bath, or music without lyrics, some nice calming music. Those are all things that you could also do. Deep breathing before you get into your meditation to help you remove obstacles and put yourself in the state that you will have less resistant thought.
All very good suggestions. I wrote them down and I will add them to the practice. Thank you.
Wonderful. Do you have any other things that you suggest that you do to relax? Might do?
No, but I have to admit I've started taking Tai Chi, and I do want to say that all the breathing practices we've done together really help get into that part of Tai Chi that they do concentrate on. So I've been enjoying those classes too.
Amazing. I bet learning the breath from the Tai Chi perspective is really cool. That's something I've never done. I might have to add that to my list. You've inspired me.
Yeah.
But I bet that breath and like learning that in comparison to how we study the breath in meditation is better.
Yep. And the flow of the chi through the body when we're doing these exercises, just along with the breath, really makes you feel it a lot deeper.
I love that. Thank you again for sharing and for asking such great questions and sharing your practice.
Yeah, thank you for being there.
Yeah, thanks, Debbie. So much love to you.
Okay. Love to do a focus practice as soon as possible, actually, whenever you feel appropriate, so that we can kind of hit that switch and enter a greater, at least awareness when we're feeling scattered throughout the day. First, I've got a question here, actually, from Asan. So you're saying that it's okay if we can't focus at other times that we don't have much to do, like, doing voluntary things like reading a book. How does focus play there?
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about, like that there will be periods in your time in your day that are focused, and then there will be times that you want to be aware and know what's going on, but you're not going to be using and burning up all of your energy fully putting your attention on something in an intense or in fully intentional way. You're more observing what's going on around you. You don't maybe need all of your resources. So everybody has tasks in their job that are more challenging and require that intensity, and then other tasks that you can do with your subconscious, basically on autopilot. So think about what activities you have already that feel like you're on autopilot. Some that a lot of people say are, things like responding to emails or, certain paperwork or other repetitive tasks that you might have at home. It's things like, cleaning your home or cooking. These are all times that you can kind of get into almost a little bit of a meditative state of flow where you're operating on that autopilot and where you're aware of what's going on, but you're not using all of your energy and operating at all cylinders. So try to scatter those kinds of activities throughout your day so that you have those periods where you need to be using all your energy, some periods of rest, and then activity that requires less of your attention where you could basically do it in your sleep, right? So maybe just think about those differences in your own lives, what kinds of, where those activities fall for you, those two different types.
All right. Yeah. So like I'm sitting, I want to like just be present. I want to like either enjoy what I'm doing or actually be able to devote my attention to it, but it's getting pulled around. Do you have any practices to kind of hit that switch back into a place of greater attention and focus?
Yeah. So when you're in the day, the breath is the best thing you guys can do for yourselves to pull yourself back into the present moment. I know sometimes it sounds basic, but it is the most important thing because it's going to shift your body and shift your brain into a state that is more relaxed, where you can then, with more clarity, shift your attention to whatever you have to do next. When you're in your practice time, meditations, any meditation, as I mentioned, but affirmations meditations are one of my favorite to build the skill of focus. But they can be difficult in the moment. In the moment, we really need those big open belly breaths to draw in more oxygen to the body and shift yourself into the state that you're able to do it. So let's all come into our seated position again, making yourselves comfortable, moving around. We actually did this earlier in the week, but I'm going to go through diaphragmatic breathing because it's the most important tool for finding a state of calm, finding a state of focus, releasing stress, all of these things. Take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Take a few breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. I want everyone to notice which hand or hands are moving. Your top hand, your bottom hand, or both hands. Hopefully your eyes are still open. I know I haven't asked you to close them yet. That's okay. So now I want you to drop your hands and do me a quick favor and just type into the chat box which of your hands, if it was mostly your bottom hand or mostly your top hand or both. And then we'll move into the next part of the practice. Okay, a lot of both. Some bottom hand. All right, so now we're gonna, when our top hand is moving or both hands are moving, we're breathing in a way that what is called vertical breathing, where we're actually using the chest, neck, and upper body muscles to breathe instead of our main breathing muscle, the diaphragm. So I want us to come back to this, hand on the heart, hand on the belly. Breathing out of the diaphragm is what is going to, again, shift your entire body into that state that you're able to put your full focus and attention on something or to relax. It accomplishes both. Relaxation is an important part of focus as well. So now when you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, I want you to try to let the bottom hand do almost all of the work. The top hand might move a tiny bit, but the bottom hand is going to be the key here. So breathe in through your nose, let your whole belly expand. Out through the mouth. Now I want you to close your eyes, so get really into the breath. I saw someone say here in the comments, falling in love with your breath. I loved that. Yes, fall in love with your breath in this moment, in this, your body's incredible ability to keep you alive at all times, in all moments, at your ability to shift your own energy by simply bringing your attention to the way you're breathing. Feel the belly expand and relax. Expand and relax. Now dropping your hands to your sides, continue here for just about 3 more breaths like that on your own. Settling into a gentle harmony. And then slowly starting to move yourself back into the room. Moving back into your body. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Hopefully feeling refreshed and ready for whatever's next.
Thank you for that. And in our few remaining minutes, I'll give everyone a chance to ask any more questions or make any more comments on what they experienced. But if there are not any, I'll pass things over to Corinne to just close things off and give us any more guidance you'd like to give us regarding cultivating a mindful focus, not just any focus, but a mindful use of it, which is such a crucial difference to understand. So thank you, Corinne.
Thank you so much, Stefan, and everyone for joining us here today. Appreciate all of your feedback and participation and questions. You are why I do this every day and what I'm here for. So thank you again. Your participation means the world to us. Looking forward to having you back at a future class. Let's take this last moment to just bring our hands to our heart. Tell ourselves thank you for taking this time to be here today and share this experience with one another. Namaste. And have a great weekend, everyone. See you next week.